What's up? It's Miss Cool doing a little shout out while I'm doing a little work here. Okay, the subject today is, hold up, I don't want to get my phone wet. You know, it's not like I'm prepared most of the time. The subject here today while I'm doing these dishes is, believe it or not, you know, it's that deer in the road looking at you, just standing still. It's the elephant in the room, they call it. It's something that lays deep inside you that people don't want to disturb because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to deal with it. We're talking about generation curses today. We're talking about people that have learned behaviors, which I have had, and being at the realization that they can be broke. Have you ever met a family and everybody drinks alcohol and it's just okay? And most people are like, well, what's wrong with the beer? Well, what's wrong with the drink? I don't know. Can you find the balance in it? Can you have fun without drinking? Can you feel good every day without a drink? Families that do drugs. Families that also marry your children and bring all that into your family. Not that you're perfect, but that's why they say outlaws, not in-laws. So what we want to do before we get started here is actually discuss and talk about generation curses. What is a generation curse? A generation curse is when somebody in a family comes out of a family of, say, abuse. These are the big stories Miss Cool watches on her Facebook. I seem to am attracted to survivors. I'm attracted to people that overcome things. Even though they have their days where they act up and everybody's like, she did not. She's still angry. She's still mad. She hasn't forgiven. She's doing weird things. She even drew a picture of a pig. She was so angry. What about my journey? What about my walk? What about my way of expressing myself? This goes out to people in my family that are watching me, and I hope they are. Always know I love you, but I could be growing faster than you. When I grow faster than you like an ivy, and I'm in a pot that's small, I got to get removed. These are my ways of thinking things out, so you can understand me, okay? Here I am. I'm this ivy. I'm growing, and I'm stretching, and I'm moving, and I'm crawling up walls, and I'm wanting to see what's over. Can I do that in a little pot with the thinking and the mentality that I used to have? I'll use me for the example because I know it's kind of critical when you do it of others, even though you want to. The generation curse is probably the alcoholic that, you know, the kids saw drinking, the abuse, the mentality they have for a female, a woman trying to run the show and not letting a man be a man. The generation curse is parents that check out. They have every excuse in the world besides saying that they didn't do a good job, that they were selfish, that they were able. Let's talk about when you're able and you still don't. Then you teach a child to have excuses instead of saying, you know, I'm gonna make that time. I'm gonna be a good parent. Now, I've met so many parents that have children and they just can't wait till they're 18 and just kick them out on their ass. See ya, bye. You know, you're on your own. It's like, it says a lot. You have to do things right, you know. You meet parents that, you know, hey, will you please do everything for my kid that I didn't do or take the time to teach? Down to even tying a shoe. It's like, take some time and teach your kid how to tie a shoe. Take some time and teach your children about drugs. Teach them about, you know, the no square, don't touch. Teach them about a lot of stuff, hey, you know, you guys. And they'll grow up. I mean, the Bible does say, teach a child the right way, you know, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying, you know, whoop their asses and this and that and the other. You can actually make a kid cry just by talking to them and telling them a story about what they're in trouble for and using another kid as an example. Say, for example, they don't want to try some new food. I know it's old school to say kids in Africa are hungry, but why not plant that small seed? Some kids don't get to have butter and broccoli. Some kids don't get to have choices. Let's just try some today and see what we think. Maybe we could change our mind. So you have to approach even adults that way. Miss Cool gets angry with people. I get past it. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I met a family Not one person does drugs. Not one person does meth. Not one person abuses scripts. All of them do. That's a generation curse. You meet somebody in a family like me. My mother did drugs from morning till night. She had drugs that were in the house that had other people's names on the pills when I was young. And I said, Mom, why the hell are these pills in here? They got somebody else's name on them. She's like, Pamela, they're dead. They don't need them. When I was younger, I was like, really? Really? While she's ironing her cap, that's what registered nurses did with starch, and they put a thin piece of velvet on them. I'm not saying my mother was always a drug addict. I'm not saying that she couldn't have overcome it. But hey, it affects other people when you're on drugs. It affects children because you're teaching them. What if I would have had the attitude, you know what, I've got a problem, I need pills. I've had some wonderful therapists and people in my life that say, Pamela, you just have to rethink things. You just have to understand that it's an excuse. You know, people suffer. I know that's why people are mean, because they suffer. I suffer. I get angry. But it's important that we get through it, okay? The generation curse with the parents is the ones that check out. They have every excuse as grandparents, parents, never to show up. And as the time and the years go by, who suffers? One thing my mother did say, I'm going to give you some credit today, Mom, for a lot of things. The kids suffer. They do. The kids suffer while the adults are like, can't handle child things. I mean, on a playground, if somebody beats you, are you going to be a sore loser? Or are you going to say, hey, next time I want to win you? It's hard, huh? Because when you have a kid and you're competitive and you want to win, behind that is a validation, Well, I've met a lot of people who say it's not always a competition. Well, why isn't it? Could it be a competition that you want to be like your hero? Could it be a competition within yourself that you want to aspire to be something better than you grew up in? Heck yeah. So it's Miss Cool coming on here doing a quick shout out about generation curses. If you notice there's a family that your children get involved with, please look for the red flags before they marry them. Oigavo. Please look. There's red flags. Test them. While they're dating, test them. See if they'll come to a birthday. See how they feel about topics around the table. With a glass of wine, do what you want. Get to know them before you make that lifetime commitment. And your seed is in their family. Those are my kids too. God bless you. Have a great day. Generation curses.